Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Broadway Jets YouTube channel. You'll know me from Twitter as NYJ Mike. I'm joined as always by the master of receipts, NYJ Matt. And Matt, the New York Jets are 1-1. We're on a one-game winning streak, second place in the AFC East. Aaron Rodgers has his first real win as a Jet. They beat the Titans 24-17 on Sunday. Feeling good. Victory Monday. How you doing?
Feeling great. Mike, you were there in
Was.
attendance. You got a nice tan going on. Take us
Yeah,
through
come
it.
on.
How was being in Tennessee for that game?
Matt, there were Jet fans everywhere. I suggested that the city of Nashville call in National Guard. It was a takeover. There were a lot of Titans fans at the game. But man, like I was in the streets of Broadway. Everyone is wearing a Jet shirt. There's just chants galore. I'm trying to cross the street. There's Jet fans riding down the streets and on Lime scooters screaming. People in like being wheeled around in wagons and weird buses in Tennessee drinking and just yelling and partying, and it was an awesome atmosphere. I think I gave out like 1,000 high fives. Saw some people from online, which is really nice to meet some people. Saw some people on the plane, hanging out with my buddy Pete. I got to meet up with Amanda. I tried to meet up with Demetrios. I got a yearbook for our buddy Andy. So if you're listening and just some names on Jets Twitter, that's really nice to see some people. And what a time, Matt. I wish you came. It was a lot of fun.
I know. I had major FOMO. And Mike, first off, if you are here, don't forget to subscribe. We'd love to be your Jets podcast. Join the family. Also, I always bring it up at the end, but if you watch our videos and we don't follow you back on Twitter, just DM us. We will follow you back. But Mike, the game, I mean, it really feels like the difference between being 9-1 and 1-9. One outcome of one game is that drastic of a change. And Mike, I didn't feel great in like the early first quarter. I didn't feel great in the mid third quarter part, but a team win, an ugly win. Where do you want to start? Because you could start anywhere in this game.
It is a huge win. You always say it. Teams that are 0-2 make the playoffs 6% of the time, which is an insane stat. And you also said, which I thought was a good point, if the Jets were playing like the Chiefs, Lions, and Ravens the next 3 games, it would be a little bit more daunting. But man, it would have been so depressing to be 0-2, and you have the Patriots coming in, and you can't be overly excited because it's just not the start we wanted.
Yeah.
And it's been years, and we've been waiting for Rodgers, and there are signs that things are going to click. And, scored 6 touchdowns in the first 2 games, but it's been shaky a little bit, and the defense has been underwhelming. But we don't have to go through all that because the Jets found a way to win this game. The defense, which has been underwhelming, came through at the end, and they got a couple turnovers in the first half, even though one of them is Will Levis just throwing the ball on the floor for no reason. And as my dad said, we escaped this imbecile booze town with a win. Which it is hilarious place. All the people do in this place is just drink alcohol and eat fried chicken, which I don't know how anyone's alive that lives there. It's amazing. But oh my God, it's so big, Matt.
Let's start at quarterback, because after you go through position groups, the plays that we'll talk about will come forward. So Aaron Rodgers through 2 weeks, and specifically yesterday, I feel like he's 70% there. There's 30% of rust still to knock off. Not everything's clean. Not everything's perfect. But if you look at the Brees throw on the touchdown, the Garrett Wilson play on the right sideline, or the Mike Williams throw, for years, when we saw a quarterback make that throw, like Zach Wilson, he would make a throw like that once every 5 games. And we'd be like, oh, there's the untapped potential that's there in Zach Wilson. Now it just happens often in massive moments of the game, like 3rd and 1, 2nd and 15. 1st and 50, like these moments are happening when you need it. And that's why I'm perfectly fine with saying, hey, Aaron Rodgers is probably 70% of himself right now. There's a little rust to knock off. Not everything's perfect, but I mean, I'll take this at any time of the week at quarterback, and it's only going to get better. I really believe that.
Any day of the week, twice on Sunday. Yeah, Matt, the offense is going to gel. We were talking about it. There are 5 new starters. They're using like 7 new guys if you want to include Braylon Allen and Corley. But yeah, like even 3rd and 1, kind of low percentage play, in the fourth quarter, the Titans had just tied the game on that weird Calvin Ridley touchdown. Jets get the ball. 3rd and 1, you make a terrific throw to Garrett Wilson that you just mentioned with that maniac L'Jarius Sneed covering him, who's insane. Then you have the play to Mike Williams, the beautiful 2nd and 16. Only place he can catch it, and Mike Williams does what he's supposed to do. And then Rodgers sets up the touchdown with an audible at the line, change the play, run the ball right. Braylon Allen is Derrick Henry Jr., even though his grandma, he said he could run in the touchdown. But just like that's the drive. Like that's what we're doing. That's what we're dealing with. It's elite quarterback play. And to your point, it's just the consistency. Like Will Levis kind of reminds you of Zach Wilson. I think Buffalo Jet fan called him creatine Zach Wilson, which is hilarious. And then he made a couple of really nice throws in that game, but you don't have the confidence he's going to do that time in and time out. Rodgers, 3rd and 1, low percentage play, puts the ball in the money. Bang.
Yep.
Oh, so good.
It was great. And the only knock I would have on Rodgers, outside of knocking off a little rust, and it's the play clock. Clear problem. And I'm fine with Rodgers taking it down to 1 when you're up 10, up 7 in the fourth quarter. You're trying to run the ball. He's eating clock away. You're not going to touch the ball. It's like you blink and they only have 2.5 minutes left when you get it. Like that, Rodgers is good. But you can't have it in the first quarter. And Mike, the other thing I tweeted out, if you consistently snap the ball with 1 second on the play clock on a passing situation, the edge is going to always get that half step. And they didn't really get pressured, the Jets offensive line, but you do get the pocket closing quicker, and then you have to throw it away, or you take a timeout, or a delay of game. That's the one thing that I wouldn't expect from Rodgers. Again, chalking it up to rust, but it's such a nitpick that I don't even care. Clean it up on Thursday night and you're fine. No,
for sure. I mean, there's some good things that aren't, like Joe Tippmann's snapping has not been an issue, which is huge. And he must have had a good game because the Simmons is a maniac on the Titans, their defensive tackle, and they didn't do anything.
I called you too yesterday. I said Joe Tippmann feels just so good, and then he gets graded out at 83.2, the highest grade on the team. On the team.
Yeah. Wow, that's a huge number. I mean, if the interior of the line plays well, and the run blocking finally felt a little better in the second half of that game. Matt, again, Aaron Rodgers, John Simpson, Tyron Smith, Morgan Moses, and Mike Williams are 5 new offensive starters out of 11 guys. They're going to gel as time goes on.
I'm going to give you the PFF grades. Again, we like PFF when they help us. We don't like PFF when they hurt us.
That's right.
Tyron Smith, rated as the 3rd best tackle in football.
I thought you were going to say like a 38 or something.
No,
yeah.
Sauce was the lowest graded player on the Jets.
I thought he got a 36. That's the only stat I saw.
Yep.
Is that what it was?
Tyron Smith, out of 64 tackles, 3rd.
Good math.
Morgan Moses, 12th.
Come on.
Elijah Vera Tucker, the 6th best guard, but I think the number 1 run blocking.
Well, Brees had his 2 big runs that way.
John Simpson, 9th out of 64.
Come on.
And Tippmann, 2nd. So, I mean, all of them played in the top 5 or top 10 in their position group.
Played like 90 plays together ever. What happens when, and that's why it's more of a shame that the 49er game, the Jets didn't have the ball because you needed more reps. And I think that's why the Jets kept those guys in the game at the end of the Niner game, which, it's scary if someone gets hurt, but you need to get these guys playing together.
Yeah.
It's week by week, it's just going to get better and more consistent, and everyone's going to be on the same page. I think they're just going to be able to run the ball even more. They're really trying to establish a run, which I understand. It was a little bit annoying in this game. It's the first quarter. The Jets have like 7 yards of offense, or 16 yards of offense.
And 35 penalty yards when you began the second quarter with the roughing the passer, which was a horrible call, but didn't lead to points, so I can stomach it. I think the 2-minute drill, and I was fine with Saleh calling a timeout there. A lot of people were not. If you think you have a top 5 defense in the NFL, there's a minute 15 left.
I like that call. We were asking for it. And Will Levis had to make a great throw, which he did. That was a beautiful throw to Pollard. And then you were going to say the hit by Clark.
The hit by Clark was a bad call. I thought that was worse than the roughing the passer. We'll get to the defense in a minute, but to close out in the offense, it did feel like Brees had a little nagging injury to his leg early on.
What
He went
happened?
to
Did he go to the tent? I have no idea.
the blue tent and then immediately put his helmet back on. Even he had a nice the 30-yard run on the right side. You felt like he wasn't as fast as normal Breeze is, so he was probably a little bit banged up. Wasn't his greatest day, but then he has an unbelievable touchdown early on in the game, so you can't knock him at all. The story is Braylon Allen just being like he looks like Derrick Henry and he runs like a 4.4. It's crazy how big he is on the field for also being 20 years old. What happens when he gets 3 off seasons with an NFL program in the weight room? He's a monster. He runs fast. The catch was good, and the run after the catch was great. But that final run to really put the Jets in a position where you're going to either win the game, tie the game, or lose in overtime or a 2-point conversion, it's all based on that run and getting in the end zone from 25 yards out. It is a great, great game for Braylon and 2 touchdowns. There's a lot to like with those 2 guys back there.
He gets right up the field. And that touchdown at the end, the run that we're talking about to the right side, gave me the shades of that the Sean Green run in the Patriots playoff game when then he went to sleep in the end zone and got a flag to make it 28-14 in that 2010 game. Man, dude, this guy, he's so impressive looking. And then but again, so it's week 1. People are like, why didn't they use Braylon? Why didn't they do this? They just didn't have the ball. We've talked about it a lot. This is a more normal football game. There's a lot of possessions. You could have put the guy in, of course, 1 or 2 other times in the first game, but it just
the
felt,
argument, Mike,
yeah.
on a 1-yard situation, Braylon Allen should be the running back every
Yeah,
time.
yeah. No, you could do
every
it
time.
Yeah. There was the 1 3rd and 1 in the Niner game. They didn't use him. That's fair. Where they used that giant full house formation. Oh, it's so much better, Matt.
There's a lot to like, and I tweeted out. I think I might have been wrong on my stat, but I'm going to say I was right. 3 touchdowns in back-to-back games. They only had 2 all of last year on the offensive side of the ball. I think that was right. I could be off by a game, but offense good. Defense, I still have my concerns, but you got to start with the Jermaine Johnson injury.
Oh.
Just a guy who is ready to pop off. A lot of people get the sophomore slump. He didn't have it last year. He was fantastic, 7.5 sacks, and again, a high motor guy that is a perfect complement to a would-be Hassan Reddick or just the guy that everybody loved in the locker room. Solomon Thomas is crying on the field, and it blows to happen to him in week 2. But he seems optimistic, ready for the journey back, and I can't wait to see what he does in 2025. But yeah, I hated the first take by everybody's like, you have to get Hassan Reddick to leverage. Like, can I be upset for a minute about the guy in the field and not the dude sitting on his fucking couch, not with his team? Yes, that's part of it. I get it. I'm more focused on Jermaine Johnson right now, and then we can eventually have now the Hassan Reddick debate of pay a little more, get him in. If your aspirations are the Super Bowl this year, you just have to figure out a way to do it and eat the cost later. It blows, but you have to do it.
It just sucks too because you want to see all these guys together. That was the fun part where you get to see Reddick, Jermaine Johnson, and Quinnen. And then how do you block that if you're their team? But hopefully now Will McDonald can build on this nice game. He had 3 sacks. It wasn't like the greatest 3-sack game of all time. And in fairness, it was the first 2 sacks were kind of coverage sacks.
The first one, he was the designated spy on the play. The second one, he tripped over Levis, and that's what caused the
third
fumble.
one was beautiful and clutch. That was so important, obviously, at the end of the game, and he beat his guy around the edge. And then on 4th down, he also had another pressure. So really, really good.
That was the one that stood out to me the most, Mike. That 4th down play, if you rewatch the snap, I think he might have been credited with the pressure on it. He should have been. I think he had 6 in the game. He got to Levis and made him throw it where the guy's route was still 2 yards in front of the end zone.
Yeah.
He had a great game, and he answered the call, which a lot of people are tweeting, why does he have number 99 on? He's a bust. What the fuck? And he delivers.
He didn't play that much the last year. I don't know.
He delivered, and it was good to see that happen.
Yes. No, that is a very, very important. The whole pass rush in general does not feel like it felt last year. It does not. And I'm just glad the Jets are 1-1 where guys like Quinnen, who I don't think Quinnen's been horrible or anything. I know he's in a tough spot now without so much help on the outside. But Quinnen, Sauce, Garrett Wilson, these guys, Brees have not been excellent to start the season. They have not been excellent. There's been moments for all of them. And yeah.
I feel like Quinnen has shown he hits his stride more in like week 5 to 8 range to really get going. Does the dirty stuff up front, made a big play against the 49ers early on in that game when he was
Yeah.
playing edge. So Quinnen will be perfectly fine.
I
Do
have
you
no
want to
issue
see?
with any of these guys. I
Yeah,
just like even Garrett. Like Garrett, there was a ball. And he had a tough matchup. That L'Jarius Sneed is so tough. He's just in his face, press coverage every second. Everything he had to do was very difficult. He's still 4 for 57. He's still on pace for like 1,000 yard, whatever. But it hasn't been the pop that we wanted to see in the first 2 weeks. He had a play where one sliding ball over the middle, Garrett Wilson kind of dropped. Rodgers threw a little below him and behind, but I think it's on purpose. He had another play on the left sideline in the second quarter where Rodgers threw a timing pass and it hit Wilson in the chest and popped straight up. That was a catchable ball. Rodgers threw a missile at him, but catch the fucking ball. Stuff like that. Brees, like you said, didn't have the same burst. Sauce looks a little bit like malaised out there. And again, the bar is so high for Sauce that if he lets up a catch, it's like, what the fuck? The touchdown he let up, I thought Chuck Clark should have picked it off. So it is what it is, but like turn around. Stuff like that. Just minor nitpicky stuff. The 4 guys, those are elite players that have not played elite so far. And they're going to come along too, which is good. It's a good thing.
it's a good thing. And yeah, the Sauce touchdown, unlucky. You want better awareness there, though, like overall. And then, he got beat a couple times in the game. I do think there's shades of week 2 last year where wasn't Sauce's best game by any means.
Right.
He dropped the pick. He gave up a couple catches. But the other thing that I find really fascinating, and you watch Sauce, he is very calm out there. Well, almost too calm. Like there's times where he takes a little bit. I think maybe he's baiting, but even very close PI in the end zone when he was covering Hopkins, very close if you rewatch that play. But Echo steps up, gets thrown in the spot pregame and had an unbelievable pick. And if he doesn't turn around at the last second there, it would have been PI. If he doesn't end up with that ball it would have been PI if he didn't turn around. And
like watching the game in person, it looked like they were going to throw the flag, but then he picked it and turned that right.
Michael Clemens, by the way, there was a play that we had we were a part of the game.
We are in the team.
A 3-yard run stuff. And for no reason, Michael Clemens murders at the end of the play. And the ref goes here and then keeps walking. And if Michael Clemens at any point gets an unsportsmanlike conduct or a late hit, he should never play another down that game. Enough. You can't blow chances like that, and that would have been a late hit, and that would have been a correct call if they did it.
Yeah, he threw one around for no reason.
Clemens needs to stop. But then, Mike, the defense for me, the linebackers were out of their mind.
Yeah,
Quincy. Out of their mind. Quincy and Sherwood had unbelievable games. Sherwood, I think, was the second highest ranked player on the team, and Quincy leads the NFL in run stops again. He's just so goddamn good. Everything Quincy does, Mike, he does it 100%. And I love watching him play football. Like, I feel like I could take my fiance's little sister who never watched football, put the game on, and she's probably like, that is the best player on the field. Like, he's a maniac. Dude, and that's how we feel.
He almost decapitated, I think it was a line judge with one of his celebrations.
Oh, I know.
So nervous he's going to, like, tear his fucking tricep doing that ridiculous thing. He punches so hard into the air.
It's a huge fear of mine.
Yeah. He's unbelievable. Sherwood had that play where the Levis threw it at the back of his head. That was good coverage too.
Yep.
I mean, these guys are all over the place.
Tony Adams had a really big play too on third down. Pass defended. Yep. Very big moment too to get the ball back there
early and then stopped and then deflected the ball. Normal behavior. Matt, what do you think about what are your thoughts on the coaching staff through 2 weeks?
I'll go kind of line by line. Offensive line, Keith Carter, whatever you're doing, keep doing it. Run blocking could be a little bit better. I do feel, though, that yesterday, Brees had that 4-yard push, where at a minimum, he's getting 4 yards. And if things go well, he can pop off for 25. So, offensive line, keep doing your thing.
Rodgers is the least sacked quarterback in football of all the starters so far.
That's perfect. And a lot of it's getting the ball out quick. And I think it was week 1, he threw it left. Like 13 out of his 14 completions were left. He just refused to throw the ball to the right side, meaning he doesn't want
Beyonce.
Guy behind him. Scary moment too early on in the game where Rodgers was on like our own 10 and like ran backwards and got murdered from behind.
Yeah, by the Harold Landry guy. Yeah,
the good thing he's taking the hits. I think Salo itself, I'm fine with. I like calling the timeout. with 1:15 left in the first. I'm
Agreed.
perfectly fine with that. I think it was actually 1:03. He let 5 seconds go for no reason, but Salah, I'm fine with.
That was a great play, Matt. That is a great timeout. Will Levis
Yeah.
threw a wheel route to Tony Pollard, and he got decapitated. And like, if everything doesn't go perfect, the Jets get the ball back, another chance to score, and you get the ball at the half. That is good coaching. Good coaching.
And it's timely because if you have Zach Wilson, you don't call the timeout, and you have Aaron
Right.
Rodgers, so you do. And a little frustration. People are like, "Oh, Rodgers might have audibled to it," but like early in the game, when you have 2nd and 15 or 2nd and 20, you can throw the ball 12 yards. Like you could do that.
And he had 2 big timeout calls that stopped delay of games. One of them was before the Mike Williams play in the second half, in the 2nd and 16. I think I could be wrong. And he called one in the first half too when it was the 2-minute warning that Brian Costello tweeted out. Why is he calling a timeout with 2:01? We don't even have to answer the question. You know why? So you don't lose 5 yards. That's it.
Unbelievable that he tweeted that.
Yeah.
But I actually have been fine with Hackett through 2 weeks. I think he's trying to get everyone's feet under them. He's trying to get Rodgers to knock off the rust. I get what he's doing. I'd like to throw it more on first down, above the sticks, but I get why he's not doing it. The only thing that you would knock on Ulbrich is it doesn't seem like they're making adjustments throughout the game.
That's it. I don't get it. How many times are we going to line up in the nickel with 4 wide defensive linemen and the team just runs the ball directly where there's no guy? They just stopped doing it. And I'm so scared for Thursday. I think the Jets are going to beat the Patriots on Thursday, but the Patriots have been running the ball really well.
Yep.
And they're going to be so conservative, and you know what they're going to do. And the Jets are not going to make the adjustment, and it's going to be very obnoxious because the Jets line up again with 4 defensive linemen, and they spread them out to try to pass rush Jacoby Brissett, who's not going to take a long time to throw the football and not going to take a shot down the field, and he's going to throw it to his tight end and the running backs underneath. The Jets should press them and put some of their amazing cornerbacks, put Sauce on Hunter Henry, at least put Michael Carter on Hunter Henry, the tight end, who had 8 catches and 95 yards last week, and the rest of the Patriots receivers had like 6 catches and 20 yards. Do something like that, but I'm scared the Jets are going to line up in that 4 wide front, and the Patriots are going to run the ball 1,000 times and have long drives, blah, blah, blah. I want to see a real adjustment, Matt. I want to see it.
Agreed. And Thursday Night Football, you're finally home, having 2 road games to start the year, 1 in prime time, short week in Tennessee. To come out of it 1-1's good, but now you're home and you're playing a team that is not nearly as talented as you. They have a new coaching staff, right? They don't have the same 3 guys in there like they've always had. They have a new coaching staff.
Yep.
They have a quarterback.
This team fucking sucks. They have the lowest win-loss over under to start the season. They've played 2 impressive games so far. You beat the Bengals, and then they lost in overtime to the Seahawks, are 2 impressive games. But Jacoby Brissett and Ramondre Stevenson and all these pieces of shit, they have no receiver, Demario Douglas. I don't know who these guys are. Enough. Beat the shit out of this team. They have to make a statement and play more rugged and more physical and tough it out with these guys. And it's going to be a good test to see, because eventually, you just have to win games in the NFL. That's why the game yesterday was a little bit underwhelming, but you won and you're feeling good about it. And it's much different to be 1-1 than 0-2. And divisional games are not easy, but at some point, make a statement and beat the hell out of one of these teams that suck early in the season. And they're going to have another chance next week, too, against the stupid Broncos and that moron Bo Nix.
Yeah, and you have 3 days until look at my background. That environment that you're going to play in against a shittier team. And, yeah, I'll take a win, even if they win 2-0 on a safety.
Of course.
But this is a game that you're a 6.5-point favorite. That hasn't happened like in 3 or 4 years. So maybe this is the one that you go, no, we're going to win by 24. Like we're going to blow them out the building. The same franchise that came into your house in 2019 and embarrassed you in prime time. The worst game that we've ever attended happened in our building. And yeah, you broke the streak last year. You beat them the final week of the year in a game that didn't mean anything. Do it in a game that means something now. Truly knock them out of the building. And if you do it, you then have 11 days to prepare for Denver and Bo Nix. Like that's how you set yourself up, Mike, for a 5-2 start. And then you can start winning tough games and you're a playoff team in mid-December. And that's what they have to do.
100%. That's why the week 1 was frustrating, but you have to take a step back and realize if you win 2, 3, 4 games in a row, and these are winnable football games, it's going to feel real good. It's going to feel really different. It's going to be in the rearview mirror, and it depends. Even oh, these opponents are not. This is the NFL, and you could look week by week and say, oh, maybe this is a weaker opponent, but you never know. We always talk about 2022. The first half of the schedule was insane. The Jets come out 7-4, and then we're like, oh, the back end will clean up, and they went 0-6. So, you gotta, look at who's next, and the Patriots are next, and they're weak, and I want to slaughter them.
Yep, and their offensive line hasn't played great, like on passing down metrics. Jacoby Brissett can't advance the ball down the field more than 15 yards. So, yeah, sell out for the run. If they dare try to throw it on you, you got 3.5, 4 guys back, and like bury them.
Yeah, how about this? The Bills play Sunday Night Football against the desperate Ravens, and if they lose and the Jets win, the New York Jets are in first place, and it's just going to feel good.
Like we've talked about it all the time. We get made fun of because we look at it way too early. Like yesterday, I'm rooting for the Chiefs by far.
Of course,
and let them go 2-0. Let them go 14-3, and now Cincinnati has 2 AFC losses under their belt, and they have to kind of who they play week 1.
They lost to the Patriots.
Yeah, so now you have
which is good for us because the Patriots in general should not be there at the end. Yeah,
in 2022, the Jets beat the Packers and Bears, right? Obviously, we want to win every football game, but when they were 7-5 after the Bills game, and then 7-6, like they didn't have tiebreakers. They didn't have them, and you're in a position now where if you go 2-0 in the next 3, undefeated in the conference, haven't played a divisional game yet. Dolphins obviously have their own problems right now, man. Like when the Jets played the Dolphins without Tua, they bullied them around the building, and the game was closer than it should have been. But they put up like 38 points, 40 points that game. Like I'm not afraid of
40 to 20. I think it was 40-21, and they should have beat them by more. You're right. Tua. He said he's not going to retire. That's insane. I feel bad. It's terrible.
If I'm him, I don't know when their bye is. Take 8 weeks. See where you're at. If your team's doing nothing, come back next year. Wear a Guardian helmet. Don't take dumb hits.
You got to think the Dolphins are going to call Brady, which I don't know how that works. Or they got to get Tannehill. I don't know. Would they sign Tyler Huntley? How was he a free agent? Was he on someone's practice squad? Maybe that's why. But
Tannehill is the most likely. I would.
They did sign Tyler Huntley. That's a thing that happened.
Okay.
So I mean, they could still get Tannehill also. They should. I'm surprised they cut Mike White too. But man, that's a big. Obviously, the Dolphins are. You have to take them out of the conversation for now in the AFC until Tua can potentially come back. Such an interesting landscape, Matt.
And the teams that we're going to battle against, right? Like that you're not going to play the Ravens, the Bengals, the Browns. I don't think they have. They don't have the Texans. They do have the Texans.
They just play the Texans on Halloween, yeah.
But like I look at the game last night, the Texans did not play great against Chicago at home.
No,
a Bears team that had a quarterback that right now isn't playing up to where he was drafted.
Yeah.
So I'm not afraid of any team.
These games feel so winnable, Matt. They feel so winnable. Every game feels like the NFL feels like it's in a new age. I don't know what it is. It was like the last 20 years, offense just kept escalating and ascending in football, and it's just not right now. It feels much more scheme-based. Let's throw the ball behind the line of scrimmage. Let's not make mistakes. Let's try to win games with, if we score 20 points, we have a good chance to win, which is kind of what the Jets are doing too. But you have to feel good about the Jets offense moving forward for all the reasons that we talked about before. I feel so good, Matt. We just have to figure out a way the defense has to be more rugged. Maybe when Leaky Fotu comes back, he can help with plug up the middle, or maybe they should go get Al Woods or do something, because they just don't. It feels like the other team is going to run for 5 yards if they run the ball, which is a huge problem. Obviously, it just is a massive issue, and it shouldn't be the issue when you have corners like this. Just stack the box, and hopefully DJ Reed and Mosley play on Thursday. That would be huge.
Michael Carter too might be out, Mike.
Oh,
yeah, ankle.
Rub some dirt on it. These short weeks are tough, dude. Even as a fan, like being at the game yesterday, flying back to New York, and then I'm like, oh, geez, like got the game in a couple days. Like, holy shit, it's a lot.
I can't wait, man. I cannot wait. Oh man.
Look at the stadium. You're right. Look at the stadium behind you. The way they did the primetime games last year were awesome. Fireworks, the wristbands of the lights flashing. What time are you gonna get there?
I was thinking 4:30.
Are you taking off?
Yeah.
I love it. I'm gonna get there. I'll probably be there around 6. I'm gonna rush out of work, hop on a bus, and I should get there around 6. And
Yeah,
what
4:30.
We're gonna talk about like M3 or L17. If anyone wants to come say hello,
Definitely.
I think it's L17 we were doing last year.
You're right. They moved it.
17.
All right.
That's Josh Giddey's favorite age slot.
Oh man,
dude, I feel so good.
It feels good. All
I'm
right,
so happy.
We'll close it up. I gotta eat dinner. I feel like we always do, and I'm starving. I have to eat.
Yeah, dude. Yeah. Everybody eats.
Sponsored by Jet X Factor. Use their promo codes. What else we have? Yeah, subscribe.
What's the we kind of previewed the Patriots game. Yeah, we'll do one Friday. I'm going to the Met game Friday too. That's fun. Big Mets series, Mets Phillies. Scary.
My fantasy team's been faltering a bit.
Fantasy baseball?
Yeah.
It's a shame.
I'm up 9 with 13 to go, but I think I'm up 8. But if the team in second hops me in 4 categories, it's over. Like it's back to normal. So I'm fighting out here.
Good luck out there, dude. I'm coming. I won't give up.
Non-football talk for people that made it this far. Huge fight in my other fantasy baseball league. So I'm in the quarterfinals, and I had to drop a pitcher to pick up a guy on Sunday because I was down 30. I needed to make like a big move, and I could have dropped Christopher Sanchez, Marcus Stroman, or Eric Fetty. Yeah. All of them are within 45 to 55% owned. And you can make the argument, yeah, Christopher Sanchez is playing the best out of all of them. And I dropped him, picked up a pitcher, got 15 points. I just lost. And I got like threats of being kicked out of the league for dropping Christopher Sanchez over Marcus Stroman.
Well, I guess Stroman's in the bullpen now.
And I was like, if you guys think I did that intentionally, I'll resign. Yeah. And I was like, who am I trying to help? Billy? Like, I'm like, what are you talking about?
No. And then Sanchez had a good game against the Mets. Yeah. Oh, man.
I'll talk to you later, buddy. Have a good
night. Shut up. 1-1. Come on.